I want to say hello to everybody. Thanks so much for joining this Tuesday edition of the Off the Dock podcast. I am your host, Brett with Anvil Music and Media. I appreciate you for joining today. Today's Tuesday. We're going to get right into the topic, but I first want to extend my thanks to those who are watching currently, those who may be watching the replay. Appreciate you guys so much. As you're watching, just let me know where you're watching from globally. If you watching the replay, leave it in the comments. Right? We are a community that all I talk is tech. I have a tech channel that I started about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and up until this year, I had been pretty much doing pre-edited videos. For those of you that are not familiar with that, it's just basically videos that you upload, that you record previously. You edit those videos and then you upload them. Not too much, nothing to it, right? But here lately, we started a series on studio etiquette and studio tips. I've, of course, have had my studio for about 10 years, and me watching it grow and watching me learn how to sort of just take on different tasks within the studio. And so we're excited today to jump right in. And as I see you guys are commenting, you guys are joining the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Mohit, hey brother, how are you? How's it going? Appreciate you for joining today. Thank you for you guys for liking and subscribing to the video. Yes, Mohit, I am from the eastern part of the U.S., so that's where we live today. Let's see a few more comments we got. ADC Kumar says his name is Kevin. Kevin, what's going on? Hey, Kevin, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you for joining the channel today. All the rest of you all, get your comments in. Let me know, and we're gonna address and we're gonna get right into the video. And sending love back to India. So glad to have my India family in today. Appreciate you guys so much. And as I was talking about earlier, the studio that I have basically constructed over about a 10 to 12 year period. I didn't start with all of this. As you can see, I have my computers over there, my keyboard, my little makeshift vocal booth back here. Got some bass traps. I didn't start with this. This wasn't something that I started right away with, right? Number one, because I didn't have the budget for it. I didn't have the money for it. So piece by piece, it was built piece by piece, brick by brick, as those in construction would say. And really, what it allowed me to do is to really zone in on see really what I needed. Like, a lot of times if you have a big budget, you may not have the knowledge to sort of go with that budget. So you're buying things that you don't necessarily need, and that's not the greatest thing. So being tied or tethered to a smaller budget forced me to make some really good decisions. So but yes, we are going forward. Somebody says, Mohit says, what type of vocals do I make? Yeah, all types. We record all types of vocals. All types of vocals. Amelia is here. Thank you, Amelia, for subscribing. I appreciate you. Shout out to Amelia. Let me know, Amelia, where you're watching from. Want to give you a shout out. You guys are live today. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to talk today about and this is something that I haven't seen a lot of videos on. I've seen a few, but this sort of gives my perspective. And so in working and recording artists and working in studio sessions, recording sessions, I've watched artists after the sessions are over leave the studio completely discouraged. They're discouraged about the session, and first and foremost, even when it comes to recording and doing sessions, like you have to, I wouldn't say to keep your expectations low, but you're not going to sort of conquer Rome in a day. You're not going to get every vocal right. You're not going to get every. I mean, it's nice too, right? It's nice to leave the session and sort of have completed the song. But those who think they're going to complete everything, they simply hadn't prepared to plan, and they haven't planned out what they needed to do. So you got to watch out for that. But I've watched many artists be discouraged. And Ayush says, "Hey, I'm talking about studio today, so be happy to join if you want to join in on the conversation." But I watched artists leave the studio completely discouraged, and it had nothing to do with talent. Um, it had more or less to do with the mistakes that they made, and those mistakes are very vital. And we're going to talk about a couple of mistakes today that artists make. And these mistakes often happen even before the recording session starts. So today's video is the top 3 mistakes beginners always make, and we're talking about beginning recorder, beginning record engineers, recording engineers, beginning vocalists, even beginning those who are interested in production. Thanks for the subscription, Ayush. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So once again, the top 3 studio mistakes beginners always make. Let's get into it. And so I want you to also hang around for the bonus I have at the end. There's one bonus that I really think you're gonna benefit from. So please hang out with me to until the very ending part of this video. All right, number 1 mistake that people make with recording is basically coming unprepared. Like, if you're gonna come unprepared to the studio, expect nothing less than there being some type of issue or some type of something that happens that you could have prepared for, but you didn't. That one thing, for example, could be creativity. You didn't allow for the moment. If you're unprepared, then that means you're trying to get prepared either right before the session or during the session. I can remember times in school where we just procrastinate, right? Procrastinate till the last minute to study for a test, and the test date comes. In the day of the test, we're trying to scramble and study and cram all this information. And what happens as a result of that? As a result of you cramming all of the information, you end up remembering nothing. So mistake number 1 is coming unprepared. If you're walking into the studio without your lyrics like locked into your memory, or maybe even having your files, this is a major rookie mistake, right? You're not just wasting your engineer's time, you're wasting your own money, right? So we all still, I think people still pay for studio sessions today, and they are quite costly. I charge, as an example, I charge about $50 per hour, which is actually pretty reasonable now. I don't know if that's changed as a result of inflation, but I've seen people spend their first 30 minutes trying to find the files or the track that they email themselves, and that ain't it. Normally what I do is, if I am a producer of a session, I will have the files in several different locations. I've seen to where the Wi-Fi was messed up, so you know, you're trying to pull up the email and you can't pull up the email. The file is too big. If the file's too big, you can't download it. So I will have files in several different places. I'll email it to the mix engineer at the day of the studio, at the day of the actual session, and or I'll have an external, like a little thumb drive that I'll have with me. It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. So you don't want to spend that wasted time, because you're unprepared. You got to come prepared with your files not only labeled, you got to come prepared with your lyrics memorized. And you got to have goals in mind, because if you aren't having any goals, then you're sort of going to disappoint yourself, and that's just the reality of the situation. So let's go to mistake number two. Now, mistake number two is sort of maybe a more along the lines of geared towards those who are mixing the recordings, those who are the mix engineers. If you are mixing a new session, number two mistake is overusing effects. Now, anybody who overuses effects is absolutely an amateur, and I say that with all respect because I was once there, just throwing effects on every track mentionable, right? Just throw effects on. Number one, I don't even know what the effects do, right? And some type of compressor or some type of EQ, delay, or reverb. You throw it up there and let's see the magic that it does. And I don't know what it does. I haven't taken the time to actually learn it in on my own time. But if you're overusing effects, guys, stop it. You know, it is a mistake that we often make when we first start recording. All right. So too much reverb, too much auto tune or delay. I mean, your mix just sounds like a washed over, just a washed over mess. It's just mess. And that can turn a decent vocal into a mess, right? And then hopefully you are recording at a studio that gives you a good quality recording of a vocal, a good, clear, crisp recording of a vocal. And effects are not to cover up vocals, they're only seasoning. And of course, you know, seasoning is just that. If you're seasoning food, you're not going to spray, you're not going to shake the whole seasoning on the food because it's just going to mess the taste of the food up. So if the vocal's not right, no amount of mixing sauce will save it. It's just the reality. You need to focus on the raw take it first. Let the mix enhance and not max it and not mask. What I've done, and for those who are just joining, my name is Brett with Anvil Music and Media. Today we're talking about 3 mistakes that those who are in studio sessions, beginners, always make in studio sessions. So welcome to the channel. Let me know where you're watching. Somebody says in the chat, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm in content creation. I'm also a project manager. Do a bunch of different things. I want to let you know that I really want to see those who are first timers. Let me know in the chat. Those who are first timers, I really want to see you guys. I want to add value to the space of recording your own vocals and studio recording. It's very important to me that we learn the basics, and I'm going to get into the basics of how to not just record, but to also mix, how to mix, and really like zoning down in on EQing your tracks and getting the basic vocals and the basic tracks correct. So we're going to be talking about that throughout the next week. You'll probably get to see some examples that I sort of bring to the table. So so yeah, we're on to mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 of those who are first time beginners in recording music, and we're talking about studio recording. We're talking about session recording. I'm sitting in the studio now. I won't be recording today, but I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get some inspiration and record. But yeah, guys, let me know in the chat where you're watching from. Type in a number 1 if you're a first timer. Give me a number 1 in the chat if you are a first timer. My name is Brett with Anvil Music and Media. I appreciate you for joining today. We're talking about 3 mistakes that most people make with recording in the studio. 3 mistakes. We're talking about 3. And we're on number 3 now. And so number 3 now is mistake number 3 is not respecting the engineer. So, well, that's not what you want to do, right? You got to respect the engineer who's recording your vocals. not respecting the engineer who's recording your vocals is just like not respecting the cook at a restaurant, or not respecting your server at a restaurant who's serving you your food. I don't know which is worse, because both can do damage. Both can do major, major damage. So we're not respecting the engineer. Um, now let me actually take this from both angles. If you have an engineer that's not respective of your time and does not value um, who you are as an artist, as a paying customer, ditch that engineer right away. I would say, if you've already paid for the session, you better get as much as you can and try to save face. But I would not use that mixing engineer ever again, if they cannot respect you, your time, or your music. Let me share this story I have. This was about a couple years ago. I watched engineer sit through a full session without any eye contact or effort. Right, it was just the worst. Number one, we were in a session, and it was a it was a actual vocal session. It wasn't any rapping involved. He thought, he was like, "Oh, I wish y'all would have told me y'all were gonna record this many vocals," because he was used to rap sessions. Generally, um, if you have a session with a rapper or MC, they aren't layering as many parts. They don't have as many melodies. They don't have as many harmonies that they have to worry about. Rap is usually about like doubling or adding extra syllables or extra words or extra comps, to not as many comps as an actual either R&B or gospel session. Well, he was absolutely the worst engineer, and the bad thing about it is he was arrogant, and he knew his stuff, but he was just so arrogant. It was just like, man, we're here in the room. Like, why are you bragging about? How can you brag and at the same time complain? Like, how are you arrogant but you're complaining about the session because you thought it was going to be a session with a rapper rather than a vocalist who actually factually comes to the studio to sing? So the whole time he's just being lazy. He's on his phone. He's like no eye contact or effort, and acted like he was doing us a favor, right? And I had to, because I'm getting paid as the producer of the session. I have to, I have to make it work, right? I've got the artist looking at me like, what in the world? Who did we get? And by the way, this wasn't our first time at the studio. We had been in the studio before, had great experience, came back, and I guess the guy who we worked with was not available for this particular session. He wasn't available. So this guy showed up, and he actually told us, he was like, yeah, he's good, he's cool. And this guy was just the worst, man. He was absolutely the worst. So me being the producer of the session, I had to sort of like assure the artist was gonna be okay. I had to be the bad guy, like, dude, like, get yourself together. And the artist still sort of, he didn't leave. I don't say he left deflated, because the song wasn't bad, but it was just handled with no care. And the energy gets sapped out of the room if you're in a session where you don't have room for creativity. Is room for, like, there's no cohesiveness, even with the from the mix engineer down to the vocalist down to the production. You've already got enough elements that are against you. I'd give you the example of, if you're writing, if you're writing, say, on uh you're writing on the history. Let's give an example. You're writing on the history of a car, and you pull out a sheet of paper, and it's blank, a bigger piece of paper than this, and this sheet of paper is blank, right? You got to come up with creative ideas to get on this sheet of paper to start coming up with your rough draft. Well, this sheet of paper ain't gonna give you no inspiration, right? You got to come to the table with the inspiration. And the same goes for when you're in the studio. If you're in the studio, you don't need to have any distractions, because you're basically starting from scratch. Starting from scratch. You're starting from scratch with your pen and your paper. There's nothing that's been created, and you have to bring sort of the creation portion of the studio out. So it's not easy to come to the studio and bring ideas. I mean, you gotta be on it. You gotta be well rested. You have to make sure you're prepared. There has to be respect in the room, and that's what we talked about in number 3. Respect is so very, very vital, right? You got to understand the roles that you play as either the recording artist, the mix engineer, or the producer. I told you in previous videos, I have recorded and produced sessions. That's mainly what I do because it's all me. I'm the guy that's pushing the buttons. I'm the guy that's telling you what to sing, how to sing it. And believe it or not, engineers don't just push buttons, right? They're a part of your actual sound. They're a part of um, your creativity and your creative process, right? So you got to make sure you communicate, that you build rapport. And if you're not getting respect, you're in the wrong room. You probably need to move to another room or get another session engineer, right? So these are sort of the things that you want to make sure that you don't make the mistake of. Number 1, coming unprepared. Number 2, overusing effects, and that one will just kill your session altogether. You don't want to be using effects that are going into the system as you're singing, because you can't get them out. You're using an out of the box delay or reverb. You want to make sure it's something that you like, because you can't take it back. In fact, don't even do that. You record with raw vocals, which raw vocals are vocals, just your vocal, no effects. And then you add the effects later, because the songs in the creative process take turns. They take turns. It's like a journey. It's a journey with the song. You got to figure out what the song means, where it is in the space, and what you're going to bring to it. And in every song, I always ask this question, and many times I haven't necessarily been emphatic about this, but I always ask the question: is what I'm doing currently right now to this song, is it adding value to the song? So, you got to think about those things. Angel, hola, hola, Angel. ¿Cómo estás? Thank you for joining the channel. I appreciate you for joining. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you get a chance. Give me a like in the comments if you are enjoying this video. Somebody give me some fire emojis if you're enjoying this today. Today we're talking about 3 mistakes that most people make in audio and vocal and track recordings. This just doesn't apply to just vocalists. It doesn't only apply to vocals. It applies for those who are recording their instruments, coming in and recording instruments. I feel like my recordings with musicians have been some of the best recordings. Like, they come prepared, they come excited. Musicians are the most creative. A lot of times vocalists, when they come in, they really need assistance, right? With their they need assistance to sort of lead them in the process, because they're lending their voice. So if you're lending your voice, the reason why you have one mouth and 2 ears is so you can listen to what the producer is saying, to ensure that your recording goes in the best it goes the best possible, in the best possible way. So so we've talked about coming unprepared. We've talked about overusing effects. We've talked about not respecting the engineer. You gotta have respect there. Gotta have respect there. And even if you look at my studio, you can see in my studio I have sort of some mixed lighting. I've got some LED lights, got some lights down in the corner here, and so what happens is you don't want your room looking sterile, right? Like, you got to make sure that your atmosphere is conducive, and that's sort of like a extra added bonus. Make sure that the space that you're recording in is calming. If you got to get you some candles, cool. Get you some candles. Um, your vibes got to go up. Got to go all the way up. Got to go all the way up. Tanush, what's up, man? You said, can you help me? I'm really, what is going on, man? What's going on there? Uh, what you got going on? Let me know what's up. Uh, don't know what's going on, but I hope you're safe. I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe. Um, so the bonus, I'm gonna give you guys the bonus for today. And the bonus is trying to do too much in one session. Now that is a mistake that, and there's a difference, right? There's a difference between bringing your ideas and your creativity and trying to do too much. Trying to do too much is like inserting yourself where you don't need to insert yourself. So I've been in sessions where I've been in sessions with like professional artists, recording artists, and I've sat in them sessions and I've kept my mouth closed. Number one, because I got invited to the session. Tanush, I'll address that later. But I was invited to a session to where this professional artist was recording, and I got there, and they were preparing the session and getting ready for this person to record their vocals and record their song. And I just sat in the corner. Number one, when you're in a space of people, don't be the first to always like yell out your opinion or what you think should happen. This is what that engineer did in the session that I told you about previously. Like he was jumping in, trying to add and be arrogant about what he could add and what we should do, and stay in your place. So I was in my place in this. I wasn't saying much of anything. Um, and so trying to do too much in a session means that you probably just need to be quiet. You probably don't need to say anything unless you're spoken to. Number one, it's not your session, right? It ain't your song. It's not time for you to have opinions. Opinions are very subjective when you're creating, right? You can have an opinion, but it's subjective because nobody knows. Nobody knows the end from the beginning unless you're just like a major record producer that sort of has your ear sort of tuned and your ears professionally just you know the direction of the song, that where you know where the song needs to go. So I was in the session and I was just talking. I mean, I was just not talking. I wasn't talking. I was just listening. I was there to learn, to soak up. And it came a time in the session where the ideas sort of ran out, and the they needed more ideas. And so I still didn't say anything because it was not my session. Um, until I was acknowledged and somebody was like, "Well, what do you think, Brett?" And then here is where I believe made the point where it made me sort of shine. I was prepared to give a good idea. I was thinking about it the whole time. How can I add value? How can I add value? In whatever space you're in, you got to be able to add value, because you never know when you're going to get called on. And this applies to work. This applies to life. This applies to your family. This applies to business meetings you're in, um, creative sessions. You always come prepared to even if you were invited to just like observe and sit there, because your time's going to come. And will you be prepared, and will you answer the call? So I gave an idea and it sparked off a conversation. It sparked off more ideas. And so I always like to hold in what I know and what I sort of, because I want to kind of read the room and see where can I sort of fit into this. I'll tell you another. I had another session. This was actually a writing session, where this is a writing session, right? To where I was in Tanish, Tanush, I see your comments. We'll address that. But there was another writing session I was in, and we were writing a song, and I was a new guy, right? And I was just kind of sitting there, and I was sort of brought in to help out, and and it was another person who was playing the song, who was playing like some ideas and stuff, and they got to a point in the creative writing session to where they ran out of ideas. So, guess what? I got called on to play, to kind of sort of help through that sort of little small writer's block period. And I did, and the song was completed, it was finished, and we got through it. So I was able to add value in that space. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to always give up your hand before you need to. All right. So those are that's the bonus mistake. Trying to do too much. Just don't try to do too much. Don't try to, as a beginner, knock out 3 or 4 songs in 2 hours. It's just not possible unless you are just a. I've seen it happen. Maybe I've seen maybe like 2, 3 songs in like 3, 4 hours. But that's a race to nowhere, right? You'll leave a bunch of rushed, unfinished ideas, and instead of one song that really hits, right? You got to aim for excellence, of course, not value. Don't be screaming in the mic. Get one thing right before chasing the next. That is the truth if I've ever heard it. So don't try to do too much in your sessions. All right, let me address some comments. Let me see what I got here. What I got. Mr. Ruda says, hi, hey. Ruda, what's going on? Another space nut. Good morning. How's it going today? Thank you guys for joining. Get those likes up. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for joining me today. As you can hear, I'm like a little nasally. I'm not sure if it's a cold or anything that's going on, but nevertheless, I'm here. Now, Tanush, man, what do you have going on? What is going on? Lady asked me for, let's see, I downloaded a random app. Well, you shouldn't have did that. It's a random chat app where you can meet friends. I met a girl there, and you know what happened? Lady asked me for my picture. I sent it later, and she started threatening me, saying that she wants money or else she will share my picture and make it viral and tell the world I did bad things. Tanush, what? Did somebody give Tanush some advice here? I'm just reading this, and so I don't. Anybody got some advice for Tanush? You sent a photo. Even if I block her, she will make my picture viral. I blocked her and installed a stupid app. I didn't do anything bad. I just sent, well, once you sent the pics, I don't know what type of picture you sent, man, but yeah, just that's a lesson. Don't send pictures online. Oh man. Another space nut says you would love to watch me make beats at some point. Yes, and we talked about that. So I'm actually getting actually getting that stuff together now. I'm installing the open source OBS software to allow that. I've got some videos that I have coming out. So yeah. That session is coming. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. What else? Another space nut says things are good on this side of the pond. About to go to theater with a child for immersive Donna show. Okay, cool. Enjoy the show. Tanush sent my face pic. I'm really scared now. Yeah, so Tanush, you did all the right things. Just block the person don't reach back out. Hopefully that person didn't give you their, or you didn't give them your cell phone, right? You got to be careful out here. So I would not talk to them again, especially if they're threatening. That's pretty crazy. So got to be careful out here. Another space nut says, I'm happy to email you some stuff down, like down facing cameras and stuff if you like. Yeah, you can shoot me an email. That's fine. I'm open to it. Another space nut says it's just a face pic. It's not going viral. Be careful in the future. Yeah, I would say the same thing. You scared me. I was like, I don't know what sort of pictures are you sending? Just don't send pictures. Just don't do that. So yeah. Yes, I didn't give her my phone. Okay, so as long as you didn't give her your phone number, we're sort of good. We're sort of good. Yeah. So she doesn't even have my number, and I don't even use social media. Cool. Yeah, another space nut. Yeah. No, well, you just send me the email. Send me the links, because you have my email, so you can send me that. I'm of course always open to suggestions as we expand this live, and as we expand the channel. And the channel is sort of expanding, right? I have been doing tech for so long. I feel like it's been for 3 or 4 years. And I shouldn't say it's been a long time. Like, I still love it. I still love talking about Apple products, still love talking about updates. I went really heavy into AI about a month ago, and this stuff is all good. But I also love the studio, and I love having conversations about things that I actually factually do in the studio with my iMacs and Apple computers and all of those things. So um, it all sort of connects. The channel isn't. I'm always going to be a tech channel. I believe probably tech first, but lately we've just been getting into just sharing some knowledge about studio equipment. And I've actually got my speakers. I told you guys last time that I've got to probably purchase some new studio monitors. I don't want to let go of the ones I have because I've had them for probably about 15 years. So my ear is already adjusted to how they sound. They're Samsung Resolves. Those are really old speakers. They probably came out in 2004. Uh, but I just know how they sound like. And even if I buy another pair, I feel like they're not going to sound the same. I just need to get over myself, right? I need to get over myself, because that's probably not the case, right? I just need to go ahead and purchase. And I don't even really want to purchase like an expensive pair if I try to go elsewhere, because I'm like, it's not going to have the same sound. I'm going to have to get used to it, how it sounds, and how it sounds with my mixes. Cool. Yeah, but if you guys want to check out some of my tracks, go to IG. At Anvil Group on IG, Instagram. You can check out some of the stuff there. I don't really have anything on TikTok. Just too many social media platforms. So, let's see. Tanu says, I'm really scared about the pics. Don't know why I downloaded that stupid app. Yeah, man. It's fine. Just move on. Don't even worry about I mean, I wouldn't download any more apps. Just move on from it if you can. Um I don't I understand you being scared, but what exactly are you scared about? I mean, somebody's making threatening, like, are they making threats on your life? I don't get it. Um Another space nut says, if I'm here, it's just a sign of channel growth. I scroll with this account rather than locking in. Oh, okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're growing. We're growing. I'm excited about my followers and those who subscribe to this channel. You guys all make it possible. Some people who aren't even here now today, I'm starting to see growth. Even like I've come on like Wednesdays, the past 2 or 3 Wednesdays, and it's been like a really good turnout. So thank you guys again. Tanus, dude, I'm literally getting very scared. Well, you got to, yeah, you got to like calm down, take some breaths, man. Like it's gonna be okay. Those threats are not true. She said that my picture would go viral and she could misuse it by sending it to social media and telling you that I'm a bad guy. That's what I'm scared of. Social media is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, but Tanus, saying you're a bad guy, I mean, you're not a bad guy. So regardless of what this person says, I don't think you should take that to heart, right? Don't let that person sort of control, because that's what they want to do. They want to control how you feel right now. They want you to be thinking about and to be fearful of them. Yeah, don't let them get to you. Don't let them get to you at all. So let's see who else we got. And I appreciate you guys for joining. Like, we're here Tuesdays and Fridays. We're here Tuesdays and Fridays, same time. I'd love to get some comments, and you guys have any comments or questions. I have a ebook that is out currently right now. If you're looking to upgrade your computer, you may be like looking for an Apple computer for the first time. Get this ebook. It's going to be in the description. This ebook is basically, it helps you. It's a guide to help you if you have questions about, what computer should I get. I'm looking at a laptop, a MacBook. I'm looking at an iMac. I don't know what type of storage I need or what type of RAM or space that I need. All of the specs I have in this ebook, in this guide, and it'll guide you in into whatever computer you should buy if you have sort of questions with that. So check out the ebook, get it. If you have questions, if you have any further questions. So here we go. Somebody's asking, do you think the M1 16 RAM MacBooks are still viable? Yes, I do. Let me know. Uh, I'm going to answer that, but you have to let me know, what are you using? What are you using the MacBook for? Or what will you be using the M1 16 gig RAM Mac for? If you're sort of using it to surf the internet, if you're using it to do like small graphics sort of tasks through like maybe like Canva or something, I think you're fine. How much storage is in that M1? Because the M1 MacBooks, I know they came out in 2020. The M1s are still good, and I'm guessing you would be buying it used. But give me a little bit more information. What will you be using that MacBook for? Tanu says, I don't want my parents to know. Well, that's a tough one, man. You might have to just like, it might be best to just kind of tell them. I don't know how your communication with them, but it might be best for you to tell them. I don't know. We'll see. So let's see here. Pro Tools, Photoshop. Okay. All right. If you're using it for Pro Tools and Photoshop, 16 gigs of RAM is on the low end for me. I'm really conservative when it comes to how the specs of Mac. So, for example, I have a MacBook now. I don't have it on me, but this Mac is a 2018, 2019 Mac. Has 32 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of space. 16 is low because I've used Pro Tools before, but I use Logic. Same thing, using for music, right? Most likely recording. I'm not saying, oh, that's tough. I'm not saying it won't work because the M chips are like, they're powerhouses. The M1, of course, is the first generation of the M chip. So 16 gigs is on the low end of RAM. It's on the low end. How much storage do you have? How much storage do you have? Especially like Pro Tools and Photoshop, like if you're using one or the other, if you're using Pro Tools at once and then Photoshop, like you may be able to get away with it, but I would see if you could get something with like 32 gigs or more. Just as a bit of advice, what I use, and this is just me personally, I don't use anything less than 32 gigs for what I do. When I use, I don't use Photoshop, but I use Premiere, uh, iMovie, Logic, InDesign. I use all of those things. So yeah, it's gonna push your computer like greatly. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you just rather just get the maxed out specs than to sort of be stuck with something that you can't upgrade, because you can't upgrade the silicon Macs, which are the Macs with the the M1 chips, and Apple, they went in that direction because they wanted to be able to make something that was not an Intel base, because Intel based Macs were or PC Macs, they call them PC Macs because the chips inside were PC chips. Apple started making their own chips. Makes sense. But as a result of that, of course, now you're closed in on any sort of upgrading. You can't upgrade your computer. You can't get under the hood and make changes. So hopefully that helps. Um, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you get a chance. Tanu says, I hope nothing happens because India is crazy country and women get more just. Man, well, you live in India, so you know the rules more than I do. If I tell me then I won't have if I tell them that I won't have my phone, and they will kill me. Well, Tanush, I hope they don't watch this live. You know what I'm saying? Like any other questions you guys have? This is a great live today. I sort of recapped some mistakes that I've made in sessions, and I have so many stories about sessions. I have stories about late sessions, um, sessions where we were in, and you know, I've just learned to plan and be a planner before I go and create. Right, I can't just sit down and not have the tools. Right, um, I want to do something great. I want to make a good song. I want the song to be awesome, and yet and still I go and sit down and I don't have the instruments to be able to, or if I don't have the sounds, then the inspiration is there, but it doesn't go any further than that. So it's just very important to make sure that you have inspiration and that you have the tools ready and available for you to use to get that song out. Let's see. Nabbit World says, enlighten me. Wait a minute. You're saying enlighten me on iOS 19. So you want to know what's going on with iOS 19. What are some of the new features of iOS 19? Yeah, sure. Tanush, I'm Tanush. My advice is, and there's nothing you can do right now. You've done everything that you could do. You block the person, right? And their threats or whatever. I mean, as long as you didn't like harass them or anything, you should be fine. I don't think there's anything else you can do besides what you've already done. So I don't. Maybe that's not good enough advice, but yeah, that's all I really have right now. Um, don't be scared. It'll happen. So you'll be fine. Nabbit Royal says iOS 19. Okay, so let's talk about iOS 19. So iOS 19 is going to give you basically you're going to have a significant visual overhaul, and it's an inspiration from the Vision OS. They're going to try to enhance, or they're going to have Siri's going to be enhanced with AI integration. Now we got to sort of take that, with a grain of salt. Like, in other words, don't believe the hype on Siri and AI integration. But with iOS 19, Siri is apparently going to become more intelligent. Context Siri's going to have more context awareness and provide personalized assistance in your emails and your texts. I don't know if I really want that, but there's going to be a new AI battery optimization. That's always good, right? New AI powered system allows you, the user, it basically analyzes how you use your phone. They're going to have this is interesting. In iOS 19, they're going to have live translation with AirPods. So you're going to be able to your AirPods are going to be able to support real-time language translation during conversations with the iPhone's built-in Translate app. I've never used the Translate app. That seems pretty interesting. So new and more improved accessibility features for iOS. One of those accessibility features that I heard about is like for people who are like for blind people and people who can't see, you can like hook up your your iPhone to your iPad and do like a mirror, basically like an accessibility feature. If you're in a classroom and you can't see the board or something, it like illuminates or magnifies it for you to be able to see. So new tools with accessibility reader, customizable fonts, colors, Braille compatibility. Yeah, if you're blind, note taking and navigation. So those things. They've got some health app enhancements. And this is like AI powered, some AI coaching features, which provides you like personalized wellness suggestions. So it's all about artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is learning us. It's learning who we are. It's becoming our little mad scientist, if you will. So that is some of the things that are happening in iOS 19. It's going to be compatible for the iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and some of the SE models. SE models. It's going to be released in like a week, June 9th, 2025. No, I'm sorry. They're going to preview it in June the 19th at the Apple event, WWC 2025, the developers conference. So, and then it'll come out in July the 25th. That's going to be the public beta release. And then September is going to actually have the public release. So I still got that wrong. The public release is actually in September. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you are getting something out of it. Earlier we talked about studio etiquette and mistakes that people make who are first timers and recording audio, recording tracks. Get a chance, watch the replay. We're sort of just answering questions and we're hanging out. Nabbit World says, so they say. So they say what? What are you saying? Hamad Ali says, my iPhone 12 Pro Max. Let's see. Will my iPhone 12 Pro Max get iOS 19? This is my first iPhone. I've never used iPhone for the first time. I've always used an Android. So yeah, your iPhone 12 will have accessibility to the iOS 19. Yes. Hopefully that answers your question. It will support the 19. I mean, the iPhone 12 is a good advice to experience the iOS for the first time. Welcome to the Apple side of the phone. Uh, yep. So with your iPhone 12, you'll notice the back button. Um, they're gonna basically change the back button, the home screen, the file access system. You'll be able to customize uh, your apps. so, um, yes, the iPhone 12 will get 19. Let's see. Emails. Another space note says email sent to Anvil linked. Some good options for OBS. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that email. Nabber World says thanks. Of course. Of course. You're welcome, Nabber World. Hope that helps. Nabber World says, I had the scariest experience last week with my iMac. I went to send a file on Discord, but it buffered. Then I couldn't open any applications. Then I reloaded Finder and my files were missing. So you went to send a file and your file ended up missing. So maybe there was a network spike in Discord. Possibly process overload. When apps stop opening, it often signals a system like overload in the source. I hope that file is saved somewhere else other than it was on your computer. It sounds like it wasn't. You probably had a temporary Finder glitch on your computer. The external hard drive cloud location could be disconnected. I don't know. Are your files in the cloud? Or are they on your external? I mean, or are they on your internal hard drive? Because those things happen. I would check your file recovery. Do a spotlight search. A command, I guess command plus space. If you do a spotlight search, try searching for the file name and see if it's actually missing. Go to you could also go to the Apple menu and do recent items. See if anything shows up. Otherwise, you may have to go to the terminal and try to go and see if the files are still on that disk. I don't know. I would check your disk health also under disk utility. If you go to disk utility, check select Macintosh HD and then do first aid. And so this will scan and repair your file system errors. Otherwise, if it's on the iCloud, you may need to download the files locally if your Mac is under storage pressure. So, guys, you want to prevent that stuff. And a way to prevent that from happening, because files get corrupted all the time. Like I'm talking about files that you're in. You gotta make sure you save it. Make sure you enable your time machine. Use your time machine. That's what it's there for. It's there to update your system completely. I would clean up your Discord cables. If you're uploading like large files to Discord, it'll clog your cache files on the internet. So and I've said it and I've repeated this over and over. I said monitor your storage. Like make sure you monitor how much storage you have, because you have to have enough storage in order to move throughout your computer, to download files, to sort of save. Even for your programs to run, you have to have you have to have at least half of your storage available to you. So that means if you have 500 gigs of storage on your iMac, then 250 gigs of that needs to be free. At least 200 of it, at least. The activity monitor is your friend, guys. Oftentimes, and I don't use this. I don't use this much, but the activity monitor shows the percentage of the programs and how much they're using up your computer's RAM. Anything like Discord, Chrome, or Final Cut can really clog your system memory. So I would, and those programs, once you open them, they're always running in the background. So, whenever you're not using them, just close them out. Close them out. Let's see. Tanu says iPhone 17 Pro is kind of a copy of Poco X6 Pro. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what phone that is. Nabbit World says you couldn't even restart, but I found a way to restart and it was all good. Okay, so you found your file? You got your file back? I had iMovie still open with my big project on it and didn't want to risk losing it. Oh, okay. So yeah, kind of panic attack, but luckily I found a way to restart it and everything was good. Okay. Oh, so yeah, you said it was a scare. It's a scare. Legend Gaming, what's going on? Hey, what's up? What's going on? Terry Crews, I look like Terry Crews. Cool. I never gotten that. Nabbit World says that's what I thought. The cache was messed up, but after a restart, everything was fine. Yeah, a lot of times you can just restart or even like just erase your history files up there. It says, granted, I've been so paranoid in iMovie lately, I hadn't turned my computer off for a while, nor have I updated it. Yeah. You don't want to update your computer while you're doing projects. If you're in a project, don't update your computer. Don't press no, say no to all your updates. If you're even going live and you're using a program, don't upgrade it before you go live, because you will be sitting there the whole entire day and be like, oh, we can't go live today because the updates are taking 24 hours to complete and to finish. So yeah. Nabbit World says, yeah, I swear iMovie is so sketchy sometimes. Sometimes I start a new project and it says it could not read the library. That is scary, man. What Nabbit World, let me know what's your specs on your computer. What kind of iMac do you have? You got me curious. You're saying everything turns out okay, but still pretty scary. Stating I worked on this for years. I'm curious, like, what's your specs? You got an iMac M3. Okay. Those are how much RAM do you have? And how much storage? Because I'm telling you guys, the RAM and the storage makes all the difference in the world. Like, especially on these new computers. And you should not be having this issue with the M3 iMac. 8 gigs or so. Oh, okay. Yeah, Nabbit, I would have, if I were you, like I was talking to the other person about your RAM. If you're rendering or editing videos, you're gonna need at least 16 gigs of RAM. Unfortunately, like, you're stuck now with the 8, because you can't upgrade. Next computer you get, don't get any less than 16 gigs. You're probably having you may be having a RAM issue. Yeah, space 240 gigs or something. Yeah, so if you got 240 gigs of space, you probably don't have 240 gigs of space because it's probably running low. That's a really low amount of storage space to have for a Mac. I mean, most likely you probably bought it because it was the baseline, like the less expensive. Y'all do know Mac and Apple, they upcharge you for the more RAM and the more space that you get, the more storage space you get, you're gonna get charged more. That's just the reality. So, and Abbott says my iMovie library is pretty big, so yeah, probably taxing. Yeah, man, get all that stuff, out on the external hard drive. Like, just push it out to an external hard drive, and yeah, you have a baseline Mac. So, yep. Any other questions? Well, guys, I appreciate you guys for joining today. Thanks so much for the questions. Hope I was able to answer those things. We'll continue on with studio tips. You guys that are out there, first time record producers or engineers, those aspiring. I'm always, of course, here to help add value to sort of give you what you need in this space. And we're here. We're gonna be back here. I might even drop back in tomorrow. So come back tomorrow if you get a notification. Um, we'll be back to again because I'm loving Wednesdays. Wednesdays are like seem to be my most like interactive days. So join us back on Wednesday. We'll also be back here on Friday. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch the replay video, or if you didn't get a chance to see all of the live here, go back and watch the replay once it's downloaded. And we're gonna we'll probably see you guys soon. Okay, let's see. We got one more question. Any tips for sound balancing and editing? I've got a lot of sharp noises in words such as the letter S. Ooh. Do you use a pop filter? I've got a pop filter over there. You probably can't see it. You see the mic? I can't see the mic, and then the pop filter is like right next to it. Use a pop filter. That's going to catch a lot of your S words, your P words, and your B words. When you speak and talk or record into the mic, a lot of those really heavy enunciated vowels push through, and a lot of times it'll spike your recording, spike your volume when you're recording. If you got sharp S's, I would try a de-esser. Are you using Pro Tools? What are you using? Oh, you using your phone and GarageBand and then exporting it to your Mac. Okay. Yeah, there may not be a de-esser in GarageBand. Well, maybe it is. But look up de-esser. It's probably your mic too. What mic are you using? Let me know what mic you're using, because sometimes those cheaper mics, they have a harsh resonance on the mic. So when you talk into the right, it like gives you a harsh it gives you that really almost like a frying pan. Oh yeah, you did say your iPhone. Yeah, man, Nabbit, it might be time for you to upgrade to a mic. I mean, honestly, if you're getting serious about what you're doing, I would upgrade to a mic ASAP, because you don't want to have to be dealing with that every time. Um, yeah, I would say start with the mic first, then maybe try to look into treating your room. Um, that's if you're serious, I'd be happy to help you come up with some options for what that setup would look like. Just reach out to me. My email is anvil, so ANVILL music media, one word, at gmail.com. ANVILL music media at gmail.com. Focus says, where are you from? I am from the eastern part of the United States. Appreciate you joining. Yeah, but we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys again, once again. You guys, I will see you guys either tomorrow or Friday as we continue our talks about studio and all the tips that I have to give. All right, you guys take it easy. Talk to you soon.